Hello, welcome back to the second episode of the podcast. I am your host once again, and today we are talking about something in nothing, and I have my special guest here with me today.
Hi, my name's Tezzy. I am a philosophy major at Portland Community College.
That is what he does. Is there anything in particular that you do at this community college that spiked your interest? Like anything you talk about that you seem to enjoy?
Oh, well, I've always been interested in the main branches of philosophy, just figuring out why we're here, what our purpose is, and I've always had an interest in space as well, so combining those two for like metaphysics is right up my alley.
Well, perfect. Glad I got you on today, because we are talking about the theory of something in nothing, which is, from what I remember, is we are the something in the nothing, but also the nothing in the something. Which may not make sense. I tried to do a little bit of research before we came on, but my brain is like a flat air balloon, so the entire time. So if I say anything dumb, please correct me.
I don't think there are any dumb thoughts. You know, the scientists really don't have anything pinpointed that we think is concrete. It's all just theories at this point.
That is true. So, let's start off with a simple little, let's talk about the space and its solar systems, galaxies, stars, everything. So recently there was a picture of a black hole that was taken. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, that was really cool. Black hole M87.
Yes, very, very intriguing. And scientists were saying that it was 10 times our solar mass of the sun to create this black hole. And then it could have been a galaxy, much like ours, just bigger, which was pretty cool. Any thoughts on that?
Well, when celestial objects gain a certain mass and try to heat up metals heavier than lead, they kind of implode on themselves, and the three dimensions of space are too heavy to exist, and it creates an object so dense and heavy that light cannot escape from it, and all matter around it just kind of goes inside of it. And that's pretty much what a black hole is defined as.
Very interesting. Do you think there is an end to black holes, or is there no end?
There are some theories about it, like where the matter goes when it enters the black hole. Some people think that it actually goes outside of our universe, which is really interesting, and some people think that black holes are a wormhole to a different place inside of our universe, and other people think that they will just keep expanding until they consume everything in the universe. But there isn't a whole lot of research on that because we only have observatory experiments, and we can't recreate it in a lab or anything.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting. I was taught in Earth and space classes here at the school that some people think that light holes, the opposite of black holes, are their connector. Like the wormhole is the connector between the black hole and the light hole.
Oh, cool. And
the black holes destroy everything while the light creates everything through the wormhole. I don't know if you've heard anything about that.
No, I'm not very familiar with it.
Well, from what and watching space movies, which aren't completely accurate all the time, Interstellar was a great one. I don't understand it, but it was still a great one because it showed wormholes and it showed the difference between the black holes and the light holes and where you pop out and, oh, what's going on, kind of thing. But I feel that I'm not in college. I'm still in high school, but I believe that that is kind of what they are. They're just big tunnels. Like, the black hole is one side of the tunnel, the white hole is the other side of the tunnel, and the wormhole is just what connects them in between, the straw that holds it all together.
Yeah, that's a really cool thought. It almost sounds like a fairy tale, like dark versus light.
It does.
Science fiction is always cool, but I always wonder how much basis in reality it has.
Well, it could be anything. It's like, I don't know, I like to think of it as not a fairy tale, but like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like sci-fi novels.
Mhm.
I think of it like that because like science fiction novels are like, oh, this has some true fact in it, but it's also really fun because aliens popped out of nowhere and shot the good guys.
Yeah, of course.
And that's always fun to watch and read because science fiction is pretty amazing. But back to the main topic.
Yeah, back on track. I think a
Sorry about
good
that.
starting point would be the origin of the universe. Like
That
the
is
Big
true.
Bang Theory, everything came from a singularity, and everything just kind of fluctuated, and the universe is still expanding since then.
Of course.
But there aren't really any theories where all of the matter originated. Like before the Big Bang Theory, nobody knows where all the matter came from.
Yeah, some people are like, oh, Christianity, God, but
Yeah, of course there are divine creation stories that try to explain everything.
oh yeah, but that's not always true, and who knows if it's true because we can't go back in time and say,
Mhm.
hey, Jesus, how did your father create the universe? Which would be a very interesting thing to do. But I feel like the Big Bang Theory is a very simple theory. One grows into more. More keeps expanding, like bacteria and viruses. They keep expanding, and they can be killed, but something always comes back. You can't completely eradicate it, even if you tried. I feel like the universe is like that. I feel like the universe is
Yeah,
like,
it's all a cycle.
exactly, like a virus swimming in the sea of a body. Like the universe is the body, and all the stars and planets are like little viruses and bacterias running through the body and making the system work.
Mm-hmm. And then as humans, we have to gather this information and try to create a picture of where we belong in the universe and what our place is. So the idea of absurdism, this living in a chaotic universe where humans desire meaning, but we live in a place where it's absolutely void of any meaning. So we have 5 main paths that we have to go down. We could deny that the universe doesn't have any meaning, and religion is often good for that. Or we could distract ourselves from this fact by just engaging in basic human desires like food, sex, conversation, just trying to distract ourselves from that void. Or we could admit that the universe doesn't have any meaning and try to create one for ourselves, which is pretty enlightening when you think about it.
Very.
Or we could just kind of give up and kill ourselves, which is always an option.
It is always an option, but not saying to go kill yourself, viewers. That is not the message. But yeah, those are the 5 ways that you can kind of take it, and people are like, oh, but what if I combine the ways? What if I don't think there's anything, but there actually is? And once again, something and nothing. It could be nothing, but it could be something bigger than we can even fathom.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows what's really out there, who's watching, how many other alternate universes there are of us and people. Who knows if there are even other people. But, it's all just kind of go with it for now. Universe will smooth itself out. Just keep it simple, keep it easy. But yeah, I feel like that's a good way to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
Explain the 5 different areas of which we think. But you, at the beginning, you said you like talking about the meaning of kind of life. Like, you like talking about it. Like, what do you think the meaning of life is?
My favorite philosopher, Soren Kierkegaard, is an existentialist, and he believes that truth is subjective, and everyone has to find their own individual truth, and pretty much the individual is higher than the universal. So what you believe is true and ethically just is more important than what society says. So it's all about just learning about who you are and coming to terms with what you think your purpose is.
So you define your own purpose. Your life doesn't define your purpose?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, that's good words to live by. Live your own life. Don't let the thought of you not living or having to do something distract from what you actually do.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing to live by. Ding. So there's that. And do you think that we were put on this planet for a certain purpose in life, or do you think that we were just an experiment thrown in by the gods of creation, or whatever the universe likes to be called?
Those are two possibilities, but there are also many others. Like, if we were created, the people or things who created us don't have to be divine or have any supernatural powers. Like, they could just be aliens or people that were formed by like abiogenesis, just like we were, but their technology developed in a way that they were able to recreate life. So we could just be in a petri dish. That's kind of depressing to think about, but it might be true. And
who knows?
yeah, we're probably here by random chance. Planets develop just by gravity and a lot of different elements coming together. So there could have been a chance where Earth wasn't formed, and there are millions of other solar systems and planets where the planets fall into the Goldilocks zone.
And what is that exactly?
It's the perfect spot, like the distance from the planet to the sun where life can flourish. Like, it's not too hot and not too cold, like
Earth,
like the
how we
Goldilocks
have
story.
life. So, I'm gonna throw a little bit of conspiracy into this because I know.
Oh yeah, sure.
You know, why not? Let's mix the two. So, The Matrix, a movie.
Oh boy.
A movie about people living a life within like their own brain. So, I'd like to think. Well, I like to think, you know, because it'd be fun to live in the Matrix, living like you're not actually dead. Like, once you die in the game, you're still alive somewhere. It's just you waking up for the first time, being plugged out of the machine and looking around and realizing this new reality that's around you that maybe not be as pretty as this world is today. Not saying that this world isn't pretty, but with the way our things are going, we're going downhill. We're going downhill a little fast. And I feel like it'd just be an eye-opening endeavor to open your eyes once and you're still alive. You're like, wait, wasn't I just dead a second ago? Wasn't I in a coffin somewhere in the ground? Like, where am I? Who am I? What am I? You know, kind of thing. And I feel that maybe, like, I kind of want that to be true, just a little bit. Like, so it's not a complete game over for you. Like, people who die in combat, like, it's not game over for them. They get a one-up. They get to stay alive. Just in a different reality of time. Like, it's all in their head. Ooh, spooky kind of crap. But I feel like that'd just be interesting.
Right, yeah, those are good questions to ask yourself. We can't really prove that the reality that we're living is true in every way that we experience it, but there comes a point where we have to just live the life that we're given and not ask all of those questions. Like, it's still good to ask those questions, but it's not always realistic. Like, if the world was going to absolute garbage, then the government could just say ignorance is bliss and upload our consciousness into some sort of utopia, and that might be beneficial to everyone, even though it isn't truth. But it's hard to say, like, which of those realities is more real, because if you're able to experience a reality where your consciousness is uploaded on a computer, if that feels just as real as the one you knew previously, then who's to say that one isn't real or fake?
That is a good question. You know, I can't even respond to that. I'm just like, whoa, like my mind just like exploded.
It's kind of similar to dreams. Like, I have really vivid dreams because of the medication that I take, and it's to the point where I can read and have conversations and like use my phone and do all the activities that I would normally do, and there are no indicators that I'm awake or dreaming.
That's really
and it's
interesting.
kind of freaky sometimes. So like I could just wake up right now and be in my bed and be like, oh, okay, I just imagined all that,
Like,
and I would have to
"Oh."
accept it.
Yeah. I'm the complete opposite. I don't dream. No
Oh,
matter
really?
how hard I try, I cannot dream. Which sucks because everyone's like, "Oh, I have this dream that I was a
Mhm.
magical turkey," like kind of garbage crap like that. I was like, "Yeah." I closed my eyes and I opened them again, and it was morning. So, which is kind of awkward. But every once in a while, something will sneak in. But it's not like a turkey or, "Oh my God, this chicken has a gun." It's more of my life, but just a few seconds ahead.
Yeah, it's just pretty mundane stuff.
Yeah, it'll be a vision of me sitting at a dinner table with my family eating a piece of chicken, and
Mhm.
it won't happen for like a month, but then when it does happen, I have this horrible sense of deja vu, and I feel like
Ooh.
I just told the future, like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Which I find really strange. And viewers, if this happens to you, please let me know. I'd love to talk about it sometime.
Yeah, dreams are really freaky sometimes.
Dreams are-
I like it a lot.
Oh yeah, definitely. But do you think dreaming could have some part to play in our, like, reason we're here, like our dreams, like have some weird kind of imagery or like significance or symbolism to it that shows us why we're here?
Sometimes I feel like that, but if you look at the science, it's probably just your brain making a bunch of random connections because drugs like DMT are released. And yeah, I don't think there's any sort of objective meaning or anything that we can gather from that to help us get a better image of why we're here. It's just your brain going crazy.
Yeah, and brains are a very strange thing with like all these different nerves and connectors, and throwing one off throws off like the entire left side of your body.
Oh yeah.
Your brain is very interesting in itself. But yeah, that's kind of about that. Let's see, what else? What else is there that we could possibly throw into this that might take
you
it
could
in a...
you could think that like the universe is kind of a brain, and all of the galaxies and celestial objects help it function.
That's a good one to talk about. If the universe was a brain, what kind of like little nerve or part of the brain do you think our solar system would be, or just our Earth
Ooh.
in general?
Oh man, I'm not very versed in neuroscience,
No,
but I'm sure it's all
just
really
like
important.
parts of the brain, like memory or like balance,
Oh, right.
or just like any part of the, like a cell. Even if we're not even in the brain, we're somewhere in the big toe of the universe.
Yeah, it's probably all really important, but maybe that creature, if the universe is a sentient being, it might not function or act like anything that we know on Earth does. So maybe humans or even planets are just cells in the universe, and then the universe is the being, and then outside of the universe is a whole different world. That would be kind of crazy to think about.
It just blew my mind again, because that's weird to think about, that we're living things inside another living thing who is living another life, who could be a part of another living thing. It's just like this forever cycle of, oh my god, there's something there.
Yeah, but just that thought would really humble people, because we humans like to think that they're important. It just, again, makes it easier to live life in a universe that doesn't have any meaning.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're always going to come up with things like that to just make it easier.
Yeah, just easier to take in, make people think like, oh, I'm important, I'm a human, I'm different than this squirrel or this rock. Like, although we are beings with, like vocal cords, and we can speak and we can understand and we can like comprehend, there's got to be other things out there that can do that, right?
I mean, if it's beneficial for survival, then yeah, I'm sure there could be other beings in the universe that communicate with each other. The reason why humans communicate was because our ancestors, like some of the more physically dominant primates, threw um, like the ancestors of humans out of the jungle, and then we had to communicate with each other to kind of overthrow them, because survival of the fittest. If the creature isn't physically strong, then they have to be smart,
That is
and
true.
that's why communication was important.
That is true. And communication is important in everyday life. You do it all the time. Like, we're communicating right now about communicating, which is which is pretty interesting, because who knows what that can take your brain off to. Like, and then I like to think of people who can't communicate and how they find different ways to survive, to communicate, like how they communicate in their own way. So
like nonverbal.
Like nonverbal people, like people who can't speak, people who, I don't know, I've a deaf person, because deaf people can't really hear themselves if they speak, so not all deaf people speak, which I found interesting, because I was like, oh, well, some people you can't even tell are deaf, but they are deaf.
Right.
But they speak, so you'd never know that about the person. And maybe they can just read lips really well, or they know some sort of body language thing that we don't understand, but...
Yeah, like when I worked at Wendy's, there was this mute person who came and ordered food really frequently, and he just like took a receipt paper and wrote down what he wanted, and he's still able to survive in the society. He's able to eat and form relationships with people, but before technology advanced and people had houses, people with disabilities like that probably weren't able to survive as well, sadly.
Yeah, which is kind of sad, because it was like all these people, they don't get enough care, they don't get this, they don't get that, they can't hear this, they can't see this, they can't do a handstand or whatever, it's whatever's key to the survival of the human race, I guess. And survival of the fittest has been around for a really long time. It's a thing that we still do, because not everyone survives, and it just kind of I feel like it takes more mental power to survive more than physical strength. I feel like that is something that, because if you got a big brain, you're gonna survive longer than someone who's like, I have muscles, look at my muscles, man.
Yeah, that's kind of a primitive idea where, like, yes, at one point, being strong attracted mates, and you were able to survive because you could get more food and protect yourself. But I think how we live right now, intelligence should be thought of as more impressive, because it can help you get jobs and attain income and such. So the thought that physical strength is the most important is kind of ridiculous now.
Now listen close. Be smart. Don't work on your physical stature. You'll get good jobs. Stay in school, kids. Just gotta sneak that in there, because who knows where viewers could be at the moment. They could be sitting on the toilet taking a crap instead of in their classes like they're supposed to be. So, but yeah, I feel like intelligence is a very strong thing, and I feel like, if you're not super smart or you're not super strong, I feel like you're in a good middle point. Like, you'll survive, like, maybe.
Yeah, but going back to meaning in the universe, I think forming relationships with people and learning more about yourself and what makes you happy is the best thing that you can do with this life. And people who think getting their morals and meaning from a book that's several thousand years old could be their personal truth, but they have to realize that everyone is able to find out what their own subjective truth is, and that's just as important.
Well, that's a good note to end on, because we are reaching the end of our time. Once again, I have been your host. This has been Taz. Say goodbye. Do what you need to do.
Bye. Thank you for listening, everybody. Hope you learned something.
Yes, I know I did. I know I definitely learned something, and it was a pleasure to have you on. I hope to have you back again soon. But that's all for now, guys. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Drive safe.